Part 3. In this part, I'm going to read a document that I actually had created for the Astrological Society in Washington, D.C. I had proposed this to them not that long ago, and it seemed that my writing was not clear enough for them to consider it to be something worthy of an interview. And it was proposed to me by them to continue writing and to start posting as soon as possible and collect my ideas that way. Being more of an illustrator than a writer, as you can probably tell by the way I speak and possibly by the way I write, it wasn't compelling enough for them to pursue. They were very intrigued and thought it was very clever, but like many people in the arts of today, there is a lot of turmoil in this community. So I will be reading it in as many parts as it takes to get it down. So here's the article. It's titled Reverse Engineering Astrology, which is a bit of a flip on the titles of these videos. But regardless, here we go. Are we really familiar with the icons representing the Zodiac? Those animals, the rams and lions and centaurs, are not alone. The planets are known by a pantheon of glyphs made of discs, crescents, and crossbars. The familiar glyphs have included the zodiac and houses for centuries. These glyphs, all 33 of them, became a set. The house numbers 1 through 12, the 12 zodiac, the 7 planets, the Earth, and the North Node, all arranged on a wheel with 12 spokes. The hub contains the crossbars to represent the Earth and the observer. The rim has one ring for the signs, another for its rulers. A third ring is at the hub for the house numerals, as it's depicted right here. Motivated by the lack of proofs, I opened A.T. Mann's The Art of Astrology, and everything changed. Because of him, I read The Art of Memory, and then John Dee's Discord, which contained the initial ideas for both A.T. Mann and myself of these things being made of parts, but John Dee only went as far as the planetary symbols. And then I also read Ptolemy's treatise, which basically is a 1,200-year-old dissertation and treatise on the astrological meanings themselves, and they really haven't changed all the way up to Parker's collection of astrological information. Continuing with the article, the chart has not changed in hundreds of years, nor the methods of reading it. But had we taken something for granted? Had something been lost along the way, all by word of mouth and the historical game of telephone? The hypothesis. The chart would be sufficient to reverse engineer the original meanings and operations of astrology. That the basic set of planetary glyphs are visually relative to astrology's core ideas. That the glyphs for the zodiac, as well as the Roman numerals, are nested with relativity to each other. That the angled bar of Mars is the same as the one in Sagittarius and the bars in both the V and X, 5 and 10 of the Roman numerals. That the visible planetary rulers are purposely seated to show and tell what this all meant. That common sense can measure this for itself. Continuing on. The rulers are the visible ones, meaning the visible rulers of the old chart before the invention of the telescope. The sun and moon look up through two sets of these, and they are in order of proximity to the sun. As you'll notice, what I'm talking about here are these rulers being a butterfly set of wings coming through the central axis. And this is not an invention of mine. This is actually the way this natural chart looks in all astrological texts. Granted, the modern ones include Neptune and Uranus and Pluto, but I will not be talking about them. The largest database of information is about the visible planets. And now we've added asteroids and comets and all sorts of other objects, and we've created all of these other symbols that I have not even done research on. But anyway, continuing with this article. The sun and moon look up through two sets of these rulers, and they are in order of proximity to the sun. Now, that's not a joke. Mercury always stays that close to the sun, and so does Venus. Mars is the first planet in the series of ruling planets that can and does appear in the night sky proper with the sun entirely below the horizon. So, continuing with the article. All of the rulers are in their houses and under their signs, as seen from a position in Earth's northern hemisphere. I ask the question, would 100 skies shown at once look like this? Would that chart leave this image? Would this be a sort of Lucy for astrology, meaning the anthropological Lucy? Is this chart a single glyph? Is an instruction manual for astrology nested within? 12 lessons would be described by those glyphs. The signs and planetary glyphs, as well as the house number. The glyphs always drawn upright and facing left to right become words. The houses, a veneer hanging into the house, accumulate in the direction of the solar system while the signs and planets move through the order of the day. Now here's the first proof. The circle is a center drawing itself. It is and can be drawn with a staff or crook in the ground. The beginning and end of the circle is the mouth finding its tail, the Ouroboros. If the above is true, then the following could be. Look at the horizon. and locate the rising sun using the first house. Lesson 1. Mars in Aries. Look at the glyph. The two horns of the ram are a binocular sight rising from a singular sighting, hanging from those horns. The glyph is a shadow cast by the silhouette of the landscape. It is a split hair. Mars is a diagram of the pending action, pointing into the first quarter and below the horizon. The tip of the arrow ends at the center's feet. A line of sight connects it to the disk, defining the first quarter. The disk is what you are looking from. The disk is what you are looking for. You look out and quickly find the dawning, and you mark the landscape. You judge the images in your mind, and a partnership of day and night is defined as dark and light. Looking directly at Aries, Libra is behind you. The glyph for Libra is exactly what you see rising while being a prediction of the setting. It is partnering fire with air, and Venus agrees. The disk will set onto the cross. The sun will rise. Venus agrees again by ruling Taurus, itself a disk with a crescent bowl on its head. The bowl, the lower hemisphere of the chart, sitting on your mind. Reflect on these glyphs.